Mic check one. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any signal back there? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Check your second mic now. Yeah, that's no worries. No worries. Okay. Sure. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mic check. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check 1. Okay. Check 1, 2. Mic check. Table mic 1. Table mic 1 check. Testing 1, 2. Check, check. Still with me, Jeff? Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Mic check 1. Table mic 1. Table mic 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. All right. Sure, I'm gonna check. Check handheld 1. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. And handheld 2. Check 1, 2. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Uh-huh. We're doing the mic check for folks in the back. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure. Testing 1, 2. Table mic. You good on this side over here? All right. Christopher, good? All right. Thank y'all.
Well, extremely disappointed for our football team and our fan base, and give Appalachian State credit. They did the things they had to do to win the game. The 2 kickoff returns to gain field position, and the interception, pick 6 was a huge momentum for them. But extremely disappointed for our seniors. When we don't have the ability right now where we are offensively to run the football, we're going to struggle, and it was evident of that. We had a bunch of drops. A drop for the pick 6 touchdown. Ryan threw the ball well. But it's hard to rely on some things in the passing game right now. We're just so inconsistent with personnel and different things that are obviously affecting our football team, as far as those things are concerned, But give them credit. They made the plays they had to make when they did, and we didn't make enough of them. We're just not efficient enough to have any production offensively until the end. So I'll open up for any questions.
Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Will Howard, Chavis, and Shy Smith?
I'm expecting, I think, Shy back next week, and hopefully Chavis the same. He's had a lingering hamstring, both of them, for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
You mentioned the running game struggles. Just the offensive line seemed to be getting no push at all.
Yeah, we got no push. They outnumbered us in the box, and we were inefficient throwing the football when we needed to early in the game.
How can that get repaired in the next 3 weeks?
I mean, we've run the ball well other than 3 ball games, and we've lost all 3 games in those situations because we don't have a second pitch. I mean, we can run it and create some things, but we've got to be more efficient. We got to be able to run the ball. Knew it going into the game.
Didn't think I saw Ortre in the game. Was he banged up, or what was the?
Yeah, he's still bothering his knee a little bit, and just hadn't been able to practice as much, and it's been kind of touch and go whether or not he can go or not, and just that's kind of where we are. So.
Do you feel like you need to make any offensive coaching changes?
Right now, we just need to be more productive, and no, not at this time. We're inconsistent in personnel and what we've got to be able to do. It's a little bit unfair out there right now, So we're struggling in a lot of ways as far as those things are concerned. But we need to be more productive.
What was Brian's injury midway through the game?
No, he just sprained his knee. He was fine. They got him loosened up at halftime. It tightened up a little bit in the first half, and he got it loose at halftime and was able to go.
Will, with Ryan, I know he's still trying to get used to everything as a freshman, but do you see him throwing the ball maybe a little too fast? Could that lead to some of the drops?
No, I mean, when it hits your hands, we expect you to catch it. And we had several times it hits the guys in the hands, they don't catch the football. So it's frustrating. We need to cash in on those situations better than we have.
Coach, you mentioned the kick return issues there. Have the special teams gone down because of injuries too, or is that a separate issue?
No, I think that one time that we had him hemmed up, Heath, and we missed a tackle, leveraging the ball from the field, and they bounced it back to the field on the second half return, and then on the first half turn, the kick positioning of the kick was not where it needs to be, and that's been an issue for Will the last couple of weeks.
Will, it looked like towards the end of the game, Dylan Wan was having some issues. Was that injury related, or just trying to get back into the swing of things? Or
well, I think that when you get in that situation, when we didn't have any timeouts, and they've got some good edge guys. 24 is a really good loose hip guy as far as the rush is concerned, and when they're able to rush on the edges like that, when they know you can't run the ball and you don't have any timeouts, that creates some issues.
When you looked at film, did you think you'd be able to run the ball against these guys?
We felt good about being able to run the ball, and we didn't.
Defensively, what did you think about your effort?
When you hold a team to 200 yards, they've gained field position on the kickoff return to start the game for the first field goal. Put themselves in a position for the touchdown in the second half on the other kickoff return on our side of the 50. You give up a pick 6 and another field goal to a really efficient offense. I thought we played well.
Without obviously you haven't watched the film, but do you know why you weren't able to run the ball?
No,
when you thought
we
you
need to
could?
go back and watch it. We felt they were moving a lot, which we knew that coming into the game. We had a hard time with the movement. That was the major issue.
Well, you mentioned before that you got a lot of great guys in the locker room. How do they respond to this with their backs against the wall in terms of the bowl?
They'll be fine. They're hurting right now. I mean, it hurts. We knew they were a good football team coming in, and we needed to play better than we did, and we needed to coach better than we did.
you kind of mentioned it already, but just how much of the offensive struggles were scheme things that you were doing wrong, or was it just execution or poor or lack of consistency for
Well, I think you got to look at everything across the board. I mean, we have some inconsistencies as far as personnel, which is obvious outside. And then we just didn't do a good enough job up front blocking them in the run game to create some run game for us, you know. So we need to go back and evaluate what we thought was going to be good going into the game, because obviously it wasn't. You know, and then go back and figure out, you know, why we didn't get as much movement up front, because we didn't. I mean, we got stalemated on the line of scrimmage by a smaller defensive line. So those are things we've got to evaluate.
Kind of taking me through that last drive, you guys got obviously the Brian Edwards catch, and then you get the ball back. Did you feel good about your chances as you convert, I guess, a really long third down and a really long fourth down with Rico there? How good did you feel about your chances once those things happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Ryan's ability to throw the football down the field, and having guys like Brian Edwards and Xavier and some guys that can really go high point the football and finish on a play down the field, yeah, sure, you felt great about it.
Did Trey Adkins show you anything particular to kind of earn the playing time today, or was it just more a lack of other bodies at this point?
Well, no, Trey's done a nice job. We've got a lot of confidence in Trey. Trey's a guy that's worked extremely hard, and just because he's a walk-on doesn't mean he can't be a good player. And he's been productive for us before in practice, and this has been his first game situation. I think maybe he's caught another ball, maybe against Charleston Southern or somebody, but he's a guy that does a nice job for us. Yeah.
Drops have been an issue in multiple weeks now, especially recently. What do you attribute that to?
John, you got to go back on the jugs machine. You got to catch more balls. You got to put yourself in position of running through windows in space, and the ball disappearing between bodies there as far as zone coverage is concerned, and make sure we're focusing on the football. I mean, those are things that I saw on the dig. Early there was a cover 2 look. The hook defender flashed, and it looked like we kind of got shocked the ball was there. So I think those are some things, and running in traffic and catching the football and those sort of things.
And with the offensive line, you mentioned that the smaller Appalachian State guys got the best of them in the run game a lot. What kind of conversation do you have with Coach Wolford throughout the game, if anything, about personnel or changes, or how you want to approach that?
Well, we went away from some of the gap schemes that we've been running because they were running through with their linebackers. It wasn't necessarily as much as their front, but they were running through with linebackers. So we went to more zone schemes in the second half so we could collect and block gaps as far as some of the run-throughs are concerned, but we just weren't effective doing that as well.
I guess, what did you see on that last play where Brian broke open? What kind of happened that led to him getting that open?
Well, that's a play that we work on. For a high red zone route that it's a very difficult route to cover, and we executed it well. We just we got called for holding at the left tackle position. So even if we had scored it, we'd had to run another play. What was the route? It's just an over route.
Are you limited on what you can do offensively right now because of personnel? I mean, you mentioned you don't have a second pitch. Do you not have a second pitch because you don't have people who can run the second pitch because of injuries? Or do you just, this is what you would do even if you had your personnel?
No, I mean, I think that it's been frustrating when Ortre and Chavis Dawkins and Shy Smith, the three guys that have been starters for us, and they're not in the lineup right now. Xavier's a true freshman, he's doing a really good job. He's playing a bunch of snaps, and Brian obviously is playing extremely well. And we've got to have some more guys step up. I think we'll get Shy back next week. I think we'll get Ortre and Chavis back next week. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, I felt like there's a chance they might have been back this week. We got to get them back.
Coach, you talked about just how hurt the guys were after this game. How do you avoid this week snowballing into something a little more disappointing next week?
No, our guys will be fine. Our guys will fight, and they've got a lot of resolve, and, they haven't shown any of that at all in my time here at South Carolina, so we'll be fine.
Just wanted to double check. Kevian Mullins, Tyquan Johnson, are they both healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you think of the way to carry on was used tonight?
What's that?
What did you think of the way to carry on was used tonight?
Well, again, we were in a situation where, especially late in the game, we needed to utilize his skill at receiver. We're down some bodies, and that was something we had a plan going into the game regardless. We had some other, packages present for him at the quarterback position we never got to. All right, thank you.
Brian, how close was the final pass, even though it probably wouldn't have counted because of the penalty?
I think I caught it. I don't know if I was in bounds or not. You know, it was kind of a bang-bang play. One of those plays I have to just go back and look at.
And the first half injury, obviously, it probably wasn't too serious if he came back in, but just what was it and how do you feel right now?
I tweaked my knee. I think I just fell on it wrong. You know, wasn't really feeling comfortable running for a while. You know, got it. The training staff, you know, did a tremendous job helping me out. You know, got me to where I was able to go back in at halftime. And, you know, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Donnell, Coach Muschamp said that at least going in, coaches believed you guys could run. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. What were they doing? What kept that from being effective tonight?
Yeah, it was kind of a lot of stuff they did. They just added on. They green dogged us a lot and really just got us off our game. And then we didn't execute the adjustments well. So really was just not good on us. So.
I guess, Brian, what was the route that you ran on that last play, and what was it that kind of caused it to open up the way it did?
It was just it was a double post, you know, from the field side, and it kind of drew everybody away. And then I had just a crosser straight to the back pylon, and it kind of just got lost in the mix, and it kind of opened up.
I don't know. I think you were pretty emotional on the field after the game. Just kind of take me through what was going through your head and kind of the emotions you were feeling as you kind of ended that game.
I mean, we lost, so, you know, I always said, you know, mope on this one for 24 hours, and, you know, we got to move on. You know, as a leader, we got to put it behind us. We got 2 more games, 2 more big games. So, you know, I'm going to watch the film tomorrow and, you know, learn from our mistakes and get in and get the guys motivated to go to College Station and play our best and try to go out there with a win.
Donnell, why did the offensive line struggle so bad tonight?
I mean, I just got to watch it. I mean, I don't want to give an answer and it don't be right, so I'm going to go watch it based off of that.
Coach Muschamp said y'all went to a little bit more zone blocking later in the game. Did that help at all, or was just nothing effective?
We tried to go to that to try to, you know, even out because they kept green dogging like the safety and stuff on the edge in our pin and pull scheme. So it was kind of like trying to get an answer and then try to, you know, go throw some counters, some powers in there, just try to mix it up. But, you know, we didn't execute it well.
Both of you guys have been around for a while. How do you respond from this and take it in the next 2 games, and how do you get the rest of the locker room behind you?
I mean, we lost the game. If we won it, we would have, you know, celebrated for 24 hours and moved on. We lost it. We just, you know, dwell on it, then move on.
You know, saying you know, it's 2 games left on the table. You know, we're trying to get to a bowl game, so it's a lot left on the table. And you know, I'm coming to compete every week, so I expect everybody else to do the same.
Was there any common factor, anything you were kind of feeling on the drops, Brian? It seemed like those kind of hit you pretty bad.
No, I mean, some was some timing things, you know. Some was me, you know. It is what it is.
For both of y'all, on that final drive when you guys converted a 3rd and long and I think a 4th and long late, just how confident were you guys in the fact that you were down at the 9-yard line? You think you guys were going to score on that as the game went on or that drive went on, you think?
I mean, the whole game, Pillen just killed us. You know, we killed ourselves. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. No matter who you're playing, you can't do that. And, you know, we thought we were in a good spot. Then we got, you know, a holding call, and that put us back. And then, you know, we go to desperation, no timeouts, less than 10 seconds. So we just got to be better.
Same.
Brian, I know Coach mentioned earlier that we're going to get, or y'all are getting some receivers back healthy. How will getting like Ortre and Shy and some other guys back help the receiving core after a game like this?
You just need more bodies, man. You know, it's the end of the year, so everybody's, you know, dealing with something. And, you know, the more bodies you have, you know, the more fresh everybody can be. And, you know, the faster we can play. So, you know, it will help a lot.
Guys, for either of you, you know, obviously you got 2 games left, but how frustrating has it been, you know, each week, you know, one week you put together a good performance and next week you come back, just haven't been able to put it together consistently at this point in the season. How frustrating is that?
Yeah, I mean, we're frustrated, and so is everybody. We just got to find the answers, and we're not the type of people to point fingers at anybody. So we all going to accept what happened tonight, and move on, and just come out these next 2 games and play like we play.
Same.
Brian, you did get the yardage record tonight. What does it mean to you, or does it mean anything at this point?
Right now I'm just kind of, we lost. My goal was obviously to get all those records, and it's good, but we lost.
Guys, they got barely over 200 yards, but it seemed like there were some more missed tackles, some more lapses in coverage. What did you guys see from them on offense?
Just some plays, missed tackles, like you said, missed tackles, just some plays that we left out there that we should have made.
Yeah, they just capitalized when we would miss tackles and stuff like that.
10 games, guys, how do you fix missed tackles?
We just got to go back to the drawing board, keep playing hard.
Ernest, just take us through kind of what happened on that interception. What were you seeing? What were you kind of trying to do in that play?
It was just a little like I would fake blitz and then I would come back and drop and spy the quarterback because he could run a little bit. So when I went into the rush and then I stepped back, I could kind of see that he was looking towards me. And his front hand kind of came off the ball, so he threw it and then I tipped it and caught it.
For both of you guys, is there a frustration level when the offense is not moving the ball for such a consistent amount of time?
I wouldn't say frustrated, but I would say that we just got to continue to do our job. We can't really go into a game thinking that they're supposed to do something and put up a bunch of points. We got to just go do our job. We let them score a touchdown. We shouldn't have let them score a touchdown.
All right, just to pick up on what he was saying, we just gotta, make the plays when the times comes, and there's a lot of plays we left out there. We gotta play harder.
It's kind of on the same vein. How frustrating is it for you guys to lose despite holding that kind of offense to just 13 points on the defensive side of the ball and 200 yards total?
We're just frustrated in the fact that we lost in general. For me, I'm just frustrated that we lost.
Yeah, I agree. Just losing the game, is never a good taste in our mouth. So we got to go back to the drawing board.
DJ, what was Coach Muschamp's message to the team afterwards, and what can you do as one of the leaders on this team to make sure that all the guys, they can bounce back from this and keep moving forward?
Basically, I just got to, keep everybody's spirits high, just don't let nobody wander off and thinking that the season over with. We still got 2 games left to make a bowl game, so we got to continue preparing and practicing hard. And Coach Muschamp's message was, just some things we left out there that we should have picked up on and made. We got to go head into practice on Tuesday, and work on those things and get better.
for both of you, taking through the emotions of watching that final drive, is that they were going down to score and converting all these long third downs, and then to see Brian not come down with that catch and then the penalty obviously ended.
It was very emotional, being that we kind of felt that they were going to go down and put up points and give us the win. I mean, that's what everybody, we've all been optimistic about that. All right, Brian didn't come down with it. I mean, we got 2 games left. We can't sit and just focus on what happened. Well, I mean, we'll fix what happened, and then we got to worry about going to play Texas A&M.
Right. 2 games left. You know, we still can become bowl eligible. We just got to go back to the drawing board, continue preparing, not letting the guys, you know, become unfocused, and we just got to keep going.
What did you guys feel like was sort of key to the way that you kind of controlled their quarterback? Obviously, he's a mobile guy, and it seemed like you kind of kept him really under wraps.
Right. Our main focus was just pushing the pocket, you know, ends not rushing too high, and tackles, you know, not getting out their gaps. I feel like we did a pretty good job of doing that.
Yeah, I would say about the same thing. It's about the same thing.
Last third down, Rico Dowling.
Rico, just take me through the emotions on that final drive where you convert that really long, I think it was 3rd down or 4th down, and then obviously come up short. Just what were you feeling as Brian kind of slid out of the end zone there?
Just thinking he had it. I seen the ball going to him. Thinking he had it, thinking he had a touchdown. Obviously, we had a holding call on the play, too, so it wouldn't have counted, but just thinking he had it. It was a lot of emotion, just trying to go out there and get the win. We had the chance to do it, we just didn't do it.
What was the issue in the run game today? You guys have been so good, especially when you were healthy this season, and it just seemed like nothing was happening tonight.
I think that their defensive coordinator did a great job. They obviously loaded the box, I feel like, the whole game. But they just did a great job. They wanted it more than we wanted it. And that's just simple as that.
Rico, with so many guys that are out there right now that maybe haven't played much because of injuries and whatnot, when you guys are getting penalties and things, is that a communication issue because there's guys that are new? What's causing some of that?
Some things just has to do with focus, going on with the game, keeping your composure. We had a couple of unsportsmanlike conducts called, false starts, just things, but just staying focused. Just got to stay focused and just let the game come to you, I feel like. But it happened, and we just got to learn from it and make sure it don't happen again.
Rico, a couple of guys who have come in here have talked about being bowl eligible and that still being a goal and on the table. Is that your mindset, and was that a talk in the locker room at all, is still having that goal on the table?
Well, we didn't really say nothing about it in the locker room. Coach Muschamp didn't, but that's definitely the goal. We still got the chance to do it. Why not do it? I mean, that's gonna be the goal. We got Texas A&M. We're gonna focus on Texas A&M and just let the rest take care of itself.
You said Coach Muschamp did or did not?
He did. I don't think he did. He just said focus on Texas A&M.
Rico, you mentioned penalties, but just how frustrating is it? I think there was a time in the second half, too, where you guys got over midfield, and then there was a couple of penalties there. Just to see your guys consistently shoot yourselves in the foot almost, how frustrating is that for you in this offense?
I mean, it was like that pretty much the whole night. They had their defensive scheme. It was pretty good, but a lot of things that went on tonight, it was us shooting ourselves in the foot. But it's very frustrating. But it happened, like I said, it happened. It's over with. We just got to move forward.
Rico, another question about frustration. Just how frustrating has it been for you this season? It just seems like the team cannot get any consistency from week to week.
I mean, the season's been
up and down, very frustrating. We got some good wins, some tough losses. We just got to persevere through it and keep going. But it's very frustrating. This is not the spot we wanted to be at right now, obviously, but it's the situation we in, and we got to handle it.
Just coming back for this game and obviously not running the ball how you'd like, how did your impact in the receiving game affect the way like you see moving forward and how your performance in this game?
I mean, I had a couple good catches, but we didn't get the win at the end of the day. Maybe if we got the win with it, it would have had a bigger impact, but we didn't win, so